in MVS's spot. And I think you have a solid 3 that he can actually depend on. And you've got a 1, 2, 3. And let's be real. Ryan Grant is 6 foot 195. He's a little bigger version of Randall Cobb. He can play outside. He's got the speed and twitch. So those 3 guys, and all 3 of those guys can play inside. Adams, Kumaro, and Grant. They can all play inside, outside. That's 3 guys to me that I think are dependable. Rodgers can trust. And I think Grant is just, obviously he's been inactive and they haven't cut him because he's doing what he needs to do in practice. But for some reason, they are stuck on Gmo. I can understand NVS still being active and you want to use him here or there. Geronimo Allison, I don't get anymore. He has done this season in and season out. Drops, fumbles at inopportune times. I mean, just not doing the right thing or not making the right play on critical third downs in critical moments of the game. He's below average and at best, and easily replaceable. I just don't get why they've stuck with him so long.
Parker, are you there, bud?
Yeah, I'm there.
Who did you like on the defensive side of the ball?
Probably I would have to say, I mean, obviously there was a ton of dropped interceptions. There was at least
It was about 4
that were dropped, at least from what I saw. But I mean, obviously Mitchell Trubisky can't really throw the deep ball all that well and all that accurate. It's probably why would have gotten those interceptions, and I think that would have made the score a little bit wider. But as far as my favorite defensive player today, I have to say it was Blake Martinez. I think I saw a lot of great, solid tackling from him, and I saw a lot of great pursuit as well to the ball.
There's one thing I saw Pettine do with him today that I really liked, Parker, and it was the fact that they kind of play like a fake zone coverage with him to go ahead and let him sit back in kind of deep second-level coverage and make Mitch think, okay, there's no one there. And then as soon as Mitch just tucks that ball, Blake just literally rocketed him and closed down on him and prevented at least 3 or 4 first downs and had to either them go for it on 4th down or punt the ball because Blake was just waiting for him. And I like that because I feel like Pettine is now using all of his skill set because Blake does know how to diagnose, to tackle someone in the middle of the field. He doesn't get juked out a lot.
He's a smart player. People don't think that. People think he's just like he came from Stanford and he's just this big football mind and whatever, and doesn't really know how to play like physical football in the NFL.
He needs to work on his coverage, though. That's the only thing. His coverage is the one thing I'm still bothered about.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I like that Pettine used him there because you had guys like
Yeah.
We just talked earlier on the phone, Jay, about it. Like literally.
Yeah.
Parker, everyone likes to copycat now, and it's sad because we were all saying Packers had a legitimate shot to go deep in the playoffs as a higher seed, and everyone laughed at us.
Yeah. Well, the thing was today, I just got into an argument not even too long ago. I think it was right after I got done watching the game. These guys were saying like I had said something about Green Bay winning today and how like we've been winning ugly lately, and we have. But then someone chimed in and said, well, if you think that winning this way is going to transfer into the postseason, you're absolutely wrong. And I was like, we're still winning. It may not be the conventional way of winning for Green Bay, but it's still working.
Because we're not putting this team on Aaron Rodgers' back.
Yeah,
because everyone's so used to that. It's by far and gone. LaFleur has made it so the defense and the offense are taking the pressure off Rodgers, and that's why everyone's not used to this. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Parker, but I got to say this. Yeah, I got to say this. This is why people aren't used to it, because it's not the norm. It's not the norm of watching Rodgers not carry everything. You have a running back who has 17 total touchdowns. in receiving and rushing. Like he's
Yeah.
literally a candidate for probably offensive player of the year if he keeps going.
Maybe
And
even
say
MVP.
he reaches 20 total touchdowns. Like that's what Amon Green has, I believe, 20 total touchdowns rushing and receiving when he was in his prime. So
Mhm.
I gotta say this. Folks, you gotta back off on what you've remembered in the past McCarthy offenses with Rodgers. He was meant to carry everything because he didn't have anything else. Yes,
Yeah.
he had some weapons. He didn't have an offensive line on the interior after Sitton and Lang, or what's his name? Lang, yeah. Lang and
Yeah.
Sitton left.
Mhm.
And then now you have two guards that are performing well because the coach knows how to use them in the scheme. It just shows you how the system is meant to just let Rodgers play quarterback. And that's what he's doing. He doesn't have to be 4 touchdowns a game.
Exactly. Everyone's like, oh, well, Rodgers needs to be this like 2014 version of himself. No, he doesn't.
No.
We've been through this before. He's been getting touchdowns. It's not like he's been not getting yards and getting touchdowns. He's been getting 1 to 2 per game, which may not seem like a lot, but I mean,
if this Packers team of 2019 played the 2014 Seahawks in the NFC Championship game, Packers would win. You want to know why? Because their defense is more well-rounded. They have the talent to still get to the quarterback, and Rodgers could rely on Aaron Jones. He would tear that Seahawks defense up. That was Legion of Boom. They would beat them with this team, and I'll put money on that.
Yeah.
Well,
they
I
lacked
guess my
overall talent on that 14 team.
I guess my point with the whole thing is a lot of this narrative is coming off of two things. One, first fold is that this offense doesn't have an identity and it's not doing its job and it's not putting enough points on the board. But like I was talking earlier, Parker, there's 3 ways a coach wants to see every drive end offensively. And it's, never wants to see a 3 and out. But if every drive ends outside of a 3 and out in one of 3 ways, they're always happy. And all 3 ways are a kick. You're either kicking a field goal, kicking an extra point, or punting the ball. As long as you're not going 3 and out and you're ending your drives on offense with one of those 3 kicks, you're doing your job offensively. You're being productive. You're giving your defense a rest. That's what these guys do. Today was a prime example. Even on the drives where they punted, it was like a 7, 8, 9 play drive. They punted, gave their defense 4 minutes of rest or so. Their defense came out, did its job, and they went out on there, and they usually moved farther down the field or scored or something. It just complete complimentary football. The second narrative that's going on, Parker, that because he's not 2014 version, he doesn't have 36 touchdowns or whatever and over 4,000 yards, that he's on the decline.
Yeah.
Nobody in this NFL, I think the first quarterback this weekend is going to break 30 touchdowns. And
nope.
It's the end of
someone already did it. It was Lamar Jackson.
No,
week 15 they finally did this weekend. I'm saying in week 15. It took week 15 for the first quarterback in the entire league to break a 30 touchdown mark. There's not been a lot of touchdowns from any quarterbacks thus far. Usually there's a bunch between weeks 10 and 12. You're starting to see 1 or 2 or 3 of the upper echelon quarterbacks go past that 30 touchdown mark in most seasons.
Yeah. See, and the other thing about that is, I mean, I've been watching a lot of Skip Bayless. I know that I really, really could give a shit less what Skip thinks, but he's been ripping on Rodgers lately on the Undisputed show or whatever, saying how he's declined in his stats and he's just been going downhill. But this season, I posted a bunch of stats. I posted Brady's stats and then Rodgers' stats. Rodgers is top 10 in like 6 of the 8 stats that I posted, and Brady's like bottom half of the league in like 6 of the 8. So I don't understand why the guy wants to trash Rodgers but doesn't want to trash Brady when Brady.
Well, he rides Brady all the time, dude. If it isn't Dak, it's Brady. He loves both of them.
Yeah, it's quite sad that he doesn't give credit where it's due, but that's the media for you.
And you know what? Speaking of Patriots, I want to remind people, especially Packers fans right now, we're 11-3. Look at how the Patriots played last year in the Super Bowl against the Rams. They won 13-3, I believe, correct?
Yep.
So that's an ugly style defensive game, and the offense was still able to put up points. I'm just saying the Packers are doing that right now. They're winning ugly. And the fact of it's not a pretty game of just airing it out all game long and hoping your defense comes up with the turnovers, so then that way they can't stop it or they can't stop anything else. This year, we're a bend don't break defense. We give up some big plays, stop them in the red zone, and then go ahead and keep putting up touchdowns instead of letting the other team put it in our end zone. It's literally exactly what that style is. Patton even said, I dare him to run. Like today, I don't know what Nagy was thinking. He had, 53 attempts for Mitch? What? You have David Montgomery, who is a inside zone runner that would tear our defense apart. And he only had, I believe, let me double check this real quick. Montgomery only had 14 attempts. That's it. And one reception. So we had 15 touches in the whole game, and we've been giving up 120 yards rushing, and we only gave up, I believe, 85 or 86 yards today.
Yeah. We gave up more in the passing game, but
the last two drives was garbage yards built up because we were up 21-3 at halftime.
And passed it 53 times, I think, or something.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Well, if you pass it 53 times and you complete 29 passes, I sure hope you get 350 plus yards.
Yeah. If you don't,
saying.
Yeah.
Parker, one more thing I did want to point out. And I pointed this out to Jay earlier, how much of in the words of he used, fresh of breath air Tyler Ervin is. Holy crap, we have a return game.
Oh, finally. Hopefully we can start turning those negative yards into positive now.
Oh, we don't have negative anymore. We're out of the negative.
I would think not after what
Tyler Ervin had 51 yards last week punt returning, and then he had another 12 today. So I believe he has 4 returns for 63 yards on punt returns, and then he had 2 returns for 75 yards on the kickoff returns today.
Definitely been a boost in that department for sure.
Well, yeah, because if you can start on the 35 plus on kickoff returns, starting off in a game or a half, anything, it'll swing the tide right back towards the Packers.
Oh, for sure. Especially with a team like Green Bay with Rodgers at quarterback. It doesn't take him very long to score anyways.
So also, Jay, should we tell Parker the news that we put out the other night?
Yeah, we might as well start announcing it because this is the end of the line as we know it here. It's onward and upward. This is kind of our final run. Trying to get a hold of some people through the week and have them on, even though it's not the end of us. It's kind of it's like a bittersweet thing for me, man. It's like 6 years, and this is coming to an end on this end, but we're moving onward and upward to the next chapter. So. Yep. Again, bittersweet, not sad, but bittersweet for me a little bit.
So wait, does this mean you guys are you guys still going to do podcasting, or is it just going to be at a different level now?
No, it's we're still doing the same show.
Okay.
But we got signed on to the Brawl Network. We are representing the Packers on there. We're focusing on Packers mainly. We're still having Dylan on his fantasy. But yeah, we're repping the Packers, and they've got another 14 teams to fill on that. But yeah, we gave ourselves a new name to represent the Packers since we're going to be focused Packers. It's just going to be nonstop, and we have the all 22 Packers coaches film. That we purchased on NFL.com at the beginning of the season. We haven't harnessed it like we should have. But now, with a lot of stuff that we get to focus on and the marketing and stuff is off our back, we finally get to focus on that stuff. And you'll see a lot more film strips from us, a lot more play breakdowns, stuff like that. And it'll be renamed. Jay, you want to tell them?
We are now First and Goal is no more. It will be gone after this week. They are working on our headers and stuff in their marketing department, which is awesome.
Wow.
So we will now be known as Titletown Brawl.
Nice. That actually has quite a ring to it. And hopefully,
we were talking
hopefully
on the
Green
phone.
Bay will have a ring to themselves at the end of this year.